Hello friends, welcome to Tennessee. I'm MD Creekmore, and today I'm going to be showing you how to really win a street fight. Coming right up. 25 years ago, my karate instructor at the time said something that stuck with me. This is what he said. He said, "He who strikes first wins," meaning that the person throwing the first effective strike wins the fight. Well, today I'm going to show you how to throw the first effective strike and win the fight. The first strike and most effective strike that I'm going to demonstrate here today is upward palm strike under the chin. You simply strike with this part of your hand, simply comes up and under the opponent's chin, like this for example. Say Bob is being aggressive or Bob is coming towards me. You simply take this hand, this palm comes up. You can be here, you strike. It can be at your waist when you strike. It can be pretty much anywhere when you strike as long as it comes up to the center line, because when it comes up to the center line, it's out of Bob's sight, and Bob will never see it coming. Okay? So here comes Bob being all aggressive. You want to take this hand and throw this hand up beside your head to protect your face from a strike in case Bob decides to throw a big haymaker strike, or any other kind of strike for that matter. But anyway, you want to bring this hand up when this hand here comes up under the chin. Okay? Your power will come from your waist, your shoulder, your arm, and from your hips. Because when you throw this strike, your hand comes up, and your body twists, and the palm comes right up under the chin. Twist, palm under the chin, for example. Okay, here's Bob. Bob's being aggressive. Here comes Bob. Throw his hand up, under the chin. Okay? Your body moves. Throw correctly, Bob will never see it coming. That should stop the fight, but in case it doesn't, you want to keep on throwing strikes until Bob is on the ground and Bob cannot move anymore. For example, palm strike under the chin. This hand here will come around, another palm strike right in here in the orbital bone, and this hand here is already cocked and ready to go to another strike behind the ear. Say for example, pow, pow, pow. Okay? Here comes Bob being all aggressive. You throw this strike under the chin, under his line of sight, comes right up, boom. Other hand, boom. Other hand, boom. Okay. Strike, strike, strike. You want to keep striking until Bob goes on the ground. This is a really nasty strike and cause a lot of damage to your opponent. For example, it can cause him to bite his tongue off, it can cause his teeth to be knocked out, it can cause whiplash type of injuries to the back of the opponent's neck from the head being knocked backwards. I mean, it's really nasty. It's really nasty, but it's really effective. That's why you should learn it and practice it. And it's best if you got like a Bob opponent to practice this on, because he has all the extremities of a human being. Nose, mouth, eyes, ears, chin, collarbone. He has all the striking areas where you can practice these strikes. The second strike I'm going to talk about today is a palm strike behind the ear. I mentioned this a minute ago, but I will elaborate on it further here. It looks like a slap, but it's not a slap. Your striking area is the palm, the hard part of your palm right here. The target area is behind the ear. This will jar the brain and knock your opponent out if you hit it effectively. But it's a little bit harder to hit with this strike first than it is to hit with the palm strike under the chin, because this strike is easier to see coming because you come around with the palm strike. But anyway, you strike at this part of your hand to right here. For example, pow, right here. Your hand can be again at your side, or can be up like this to defend yourself and come around, or it can be at your side like I said. It can be in any position, but you want to strike at the hard part of the bone behind the ear. And again, you want to bring this hand up to protect this side of the face when you throw this strike. For example, here's Bob. Bob's being aggressive. You know you're going to have to fight Bob. Okay? This hand comes up to protect your head. This hand comes around behind the ear. Bob, you don't want to fight Bob. Bob's being aggressive. But Bob wants to fight anyways. You know it's going to escalate into the fight. So you want to end the fight quickly. And you want to end that with a palm strike to behind the ear. Okay, this hand comes up. Once again, this hand comes up the same motion as before. If you did with this hand comes up every time. Or if you're left-handed, it'd be this hand comes up and this palm comes forward. But anyway, I'm right-handed, so we'll do it this way. I'll demonstrate this way. But this hand comes up, this hand comes around, right behind the ear to Bob. Pow. And once again, you don't want to stop at one strike. You want to keep striking until Bob is on the ground and can't move. Okay, for example, here comes Bob. You throw this strike. This hand is already back, ready for another strike, okay? Here comes Bob, you strike. And this hand here, you can come up with to the face. This hand's already cocked back and ready to go. Strike her in the chin. It's really that simple. The end of the fight, and it's quick and it's easy. Pow, pow, pow. Fight's over. Strike, strike, strike. Each time this hand comes up, when this hand comes forward, your power comes from your hip and your waist. Strike her in the chin, strike the orbital bone, strike behind the ear. Simple. Strike behind the ear, strike to the nose, strike her in the chin. Pow, pow, pow. Okay? Simple and effective. Hard part of this, it looks like a slap, but it's not a slap, folks. You don't want to hit with this part of your hand here. You don't want to slap Bob. That's just going to piss Bob off. You want to knock Bob out. So your striking area is here, the hard part of the bone, in your palm. It comes around, your hand is sort of held like this when it comes around. Okay? You strike here, behind Bob's ear. All right, behind Bob's ear and beside the ear, here to the jaw line. Preferably behind the ear because it shakes the brain and knocks the opponent out. Pow. To the nose. Pow on the chin. I mean, just, you want to keep it going until Bob gets on the ground. But the most important strike is that first one. You want to stun Bob, and hopefully knock Bob out with the first strike. But if Bob don't go down the first strike, you keep striking until Bob can't move anymore. The third strike we're going to talk about today is sort of like the palm strike behind the ear, but instead of hitting with this part of your hand, you want to cup your hand and hit over the ear itself. Your hand comes up, this hand comes around, or up, or however position you're in at the time. You need to learn to throw from different positions. For example, here comes Bob. Same motion, Bob's been aggressive. You throw this hand up, this hand comes around, cupped, right over top of the ear. Hopefully split the eardrum, or burst the eardrum, I mean. Pow. And again, when you start that one strike, hopefully Bob goes down like a sack of potatoes and is out of the fight. But Bob might not be. Bob could be one tough SOB and still be in the fight. So, strike, this hand's already cocked back and ready to go. Another strike, each strike your hips gives your strikes power. Your hips and your shoulders, but mainly your hips and your legs give it power. Because you're doing this motion when you're striking. And you keep striking, okay? To the ear, another strike, and another strike. When you keep striking until Bob's on the ground. It doesn't have to be those exact strikes, and you can mix it up and do what works for you and what feels the best. As Bruce Lee said, use what is useful. Strike, 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 okay? It's really that simple. Another technique you can do that's similar, but instead of using one palm strike to the ear, you use two. It's really effective, and say Bob is shoving you. Bob's shoving, okay? You can simply take both hands, cupped, or say Bob is holding your throat, choking. It's really good for that too. If somebody was choking you, like, and your hands are free. They're trying to choke you against the wall, your hands are free. Or they're shoving, okay? Simply take both hands are cupped, both hands come up on both sides, okay? Pow, on both sides, Bob. That's going to mess his whole day up, all right? Pow, both sides. Bob's choking you or Bob's pushing you. Pow, both sides. When you throw this strike to both sides, you can also grip Bob's head, okay? You grip Bob's head. I'll take my hat off for this so we can see. Bob's been aggressive. Bob is choking. Bob is coming at you. Take both hands. Pow. You have Bob's head already held, okay? You can come in with your head, forehead, right to the bridge of Bob's nose. Pow, okay? Okay, the fourth strike I'm going to show you is a knife hand strike to the throat. This is another strike that's really effective. It can actually kill an opponent if you hit them, if the strike lands to the Adam's apple. So, say Bob's been aggressive and you can have your arms in a non-aggressive stance like so. Your hand is actually free to come right out to a knife hand strike to the throat. It's a perfect opportunity if you do it this way. Okay, you're standing, Bob is coming at you or Bob is in your face, and you know it's going to escalate, and you know it's going to escalate into a physical altercation. I mean, if you can get away and you know it's not going to be actually physical, you can get away and do that. But if you know it's going to be physical, then you want to end the fight quickly and you want to throw the first strike and the most effective strike to stop the fight. Because unlike a UFC fight or a boxing match, there's no rules, there's no regulations, there's no referees to save you. A lot of times your opponent, if they knock you out, will stay on you until you are dead. I mean, it happens. You don't want to take that risk. You want to end the fight as quickly as possible. And you want to be aggressive. You don't want to worry about rules or firefighting and all that bunch of bull crap. It's not like the UFC. You want to end the fight quickly and as effectively as possible. And these strikes I'm showing you today will help you to do that. But anyway, back to the knife hand strike. As I said, the striking area is right here. You want to keep your hand like this. You can also have it like this, but I prefer like this myself. Like I said, use what is useful. But Bob's coming, Bob is here, Bob's being aggressive. Your hands are here, your hands are somewhere. You come straight out to the throat, okay? It's also good if your hands are at your side. Bob's been aggressive, come pow, right over, right around. And your goal, when you throw this strike, shouldn't be just to strike Bob. Your goal is to completely take Bob's head off his torso. You want your hand to be used like an axe. When you chop, you want, in your mind, it's not going to happen. You're not going to take Bob's head completely off with a knife hand strike or a axe hand strike, whatever you want to call it. Different people call it different things. When I was in taking karate, we called it the knife hand strikes. That's what I still call it today. But anyway, you want, in your mind, so you can get more power in your strike, you want to be completely chopping Bob's head completely off with your hand. That's your goal. It's completely take Bob's head off. And again, when you strike, this hand comes inside your face to protect yourself. Okay? Hand comes up, strike to the throat. You can also be standing like a non-aggressive stance like this. Your arms like this. When Bob gets close enough, you can simply come out and pow. Okay? You can also throw it with this hand, like so. You can also throw this strike like this. But each time, this hand comes up to protect your head. Strike comes around. You can be like this, in a non-aggressive stance. Hand comes up, short chop to the throat. You want to here or here. If you hit here, it will shock the opponent's brain because it causes the blood pressure to drop quickly, and it will knock the opponent out. Again, this hand is back and ready to go every time you strike, okay? Ready for another strike. So you strike, this hand's already ready, another strike, another strike, another strike, headbutt, I mean, whatever you need to do to take your opponent out. Okay, the fifth strike I'm going to show you today is a hammer fist strike to the collarbone. Your striking area is here. The collarbone is fairly easy to break, and if you hit the collarbone correctly and you break the collarbone, your opponent's arm will be completely useless. When you strike and break the collarbone, your opponent is going to be out of the fight. When that's fighting you is going to be the last thing on his mind at that point. So you're here, and Bob's been aggressive, your hands are up. You want to take this hand and simply come down across the collarbone in a hammer fist strike. Again, this hand comes up beside your head to protect you from a punch. Okay, Bob is here, hand comes up, hammer fist at the collarbone, okay? Real simple, real effective, easy to do. A good way to use the hammer fist strike to the collarbone is simply, it looks non-aggressive when you're doing this, but you want to like take and say bring your hand up to, Bob would think you're bringing your hand up to scratch your face or something, you know, okay? You bring your hand up like scratch your face, and at the same time you do that, you come down, pow. All right, you want to get like I said, you want to get the first strike. The first strike's the most important strike. So Bob's being aggressive, and you're being non-aggressive to Bob. You know it's going to escalate into a physical altercation. Okay, you simply bring your hand up like you're scratching your head or something like that, you know, and you bring your hand up. This hand will come up at the same time that you're striking. Like I said before, Bob might not go down. If you break the collarbone, which is pretty easy to do if you hit it correctly, it's pretty easy to do. But if Bob's might not go down, you want to strike. This hand's already ready to strike again because you bring it up because you brought this hand up to protect your head, okay? Pow, 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 pow. I mean, do whatever you need to do. But you want to keep striking until Bob goes down to the ground and can't fight no more. Well, there you have it, folks. 5 really effective strikes for ending a street fight quickly and efficiently. Remember, he who strikes first wins. And also remember that this video is for informational purposes only. The techniques shown in this video can cause very serious bodily harm or even death. And for that purpose, this video is presented for information and entertainment purposes only. The technique should only be used in a life and death situation to protect your life or that of a loved one.